Hey guys, it's Overlord here, back again with another review and an off-centered camera as usual. There. And today we're having a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Deadliest Foes box set Carnage. I did a comparison to the Hasbro Carnage from the Green Goblin wave a couple weeks ago. I don't remember, but this is the Toy Biz figure that was in that video. I hadn't done a review of him yet. Unlike the Venoms, the Sinister Six one, and the Absorbing Man Wave one. So I figured I'd do a review of this guy. Just a week to get some stuff I've picked up reviewed and, accounted for. I picked this dude up off of Instagram actually for 15 bucks. It was off of Classic Plastics Toy Store. It's a collectible toy store in West Virginia. I also got a few other figures from there. Really cool guy, ships out when he can, It's a trick of the trade. But yeah, this guy, his hips are pretty freaking loose, but I heard that's common on new ones, so whatevs. Yeah, this dude is pretty, he's well sculpted, but I think some of this over-posability may be the downfall of it. I mean, Toy Biz really was trying to push the superposability, which, I can see in some cases. I'm more of a supporter of form, much like Glenn Webb is. And the form of this guy is a little off. I think he has more of a toxin feel. Especially that repaint with the black hands and feet. That one definitely screamed more toxin to me than Carnage. But, whatever. It's no harm done. But I'll give you a close-up look. I do like the head on this guy, but I think some of the detail is lost with the paint. In fact, yeah, he's got some paint there. Because I think he's supposed to have teeth going on, but there's so many of them. It's lost, but because I can't tell if this is his jaw tearing away or if these little white things are teeth. Kind of look like teeth, but at the same time they don't. It's hard to tell with my lighting. But either way, he's got lots of nice little sculpted details. Has a bit of a burnt look. Like the little black spots with the shading around him look really nice. If the Hasbro one had this level of detail and the superiority it has to this one, I think it would be everyone's go-to Carnage. I think some people may prefer this one because of the sculpt, but at the same time the superposability is a little overkill sometimes with these older Toy Biz figures. But speaking of which, let's go over that quickly. He's got a hinge in the head as well as a swivel. No rock, but oh well. He's got in and out at the shoulder, goes forward and back. Bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, which you can get quite a bit of range out of. He's got a swivel at the wrist, hinge at the wrist and in the 3 fingers here, as well as his pointer and his thumb. Now, this is where it gets a little overkill. Excuse me as I adjust his arm. Okay, so the Hasbro one has a hinge and a swivel, the same joint, essentially. This guy has the swivel up here, the hinge down here, and then 3 hinges in the fingers. That's a bit much. I would prefer just open hands without the pins. Granted, they're red pins, but still. I think the hand joints are a little overkill, or the finger joints, I should say. And even like the swivel and then the hinge, it's like, could be so much cleaner. I know one figure that actually does use the newer system that was made by Toy Biz. Is Man-Wolf. He's got the swivel and the hinge, like they're connected. If you guys know what I mean, you should be following me right now. But yeah, I'm just saying that the over-posability might be the downfall of some of these guys. He also has an ab crunch. It's forward and back. A little bit better than some of the newer figures. He's got a waist swivel. T-jointed hips. They're really well. They work really well, but the form is a bit lost here by this bulbous ball here. But I can look past that. He's got a swivel as well. Moves up pretty far, moves back very slightly. Thigh swivel, double jointed knee. Again, pretty decent range. Swivel at the boot, which he doesn't really have, which the Hasbro one has. I don't really care for boot swivels. I prefer the new Taskmaster style joint. He's got a hinge in the foot, no rocker, and a toe pivot, which that's probably my least favorite point of articulation ever, because it's pretty, for me it's pretty useless. It just gets loose and it makes him fall over, but what are you going to do? But that's essentially it for this guy. Do a quick size comparison with Pizza Spidey here. I feel like an idiot because I didn't bust that figure out. And yes, loose hips are starting to come into play. That or the infamous Marvel Select Venom curses returning. If you've been a long viewer of my channel, you should know what that is by now. Stand up, buddy. Alrighty, where did I put my... There he is, right? If it's not him, it's close enough. Okay, it is. Here he is next to Pizza Spidey, and Pizza Spidey looks a little taller. Which isn't terrible, because this Carnage is kind of hunched. But, yeah, you know what I mean, though, right? With the overkill articulation. I just don't think a lot of it's necessary, but I could just be an idiot who doesn't appreciate the fine art of posability. But I'm going to give this guy, excuse me, if you're a Carnage fan, it's a definite pickup. If you're a Venom symbiote fan, I think it's worth a look. I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10. I'm not being biased because it's Carnage. Well, maybe a little. But, yeah, he's got some form flaws. The posability is great, but some of it's not needed. But if you can't afford the new one, or at least the price is the regular one, not the bootleg one it's going for, I'd say pick this guy up until you get that one. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned. Got another Venom-related figure on the way. Symbiote, I suppose. And on Thursday, we're going to have a look at Magic Change Mysterio. But yeah, until next time, catch you guys later. Carnage! Okay then.